I've said before about upeksha as one of the four Brahmaviharas that it can seem to be passive. But upeksha, equanimity, is not a passive state. It's an active consideration. And because our brains are prone to preference and our minds are addicted to things like clinging, grasping, wanting, and our minds are aversive to things that we feel resistance for, to choose equanimity is actually an active choice. It can sound passive to people. It can appear passive when it's misunderstood, because equanimity means that we have an evenness of mind and heart towards whatever is arising. We have an evenness. The temptation there, which is actually called the near enemy in Buddhism, the temptation is for this appearance of non-engagement or disengagement, a kind of temptation to appear or even be interpreted as aloof. But equanimity is not aloofness. It is not a detachment into this disconnected, dissociated place. It's an active choice to not be swung about by desire, clinging, and grasping, aversion, resistance, and reacting, but an active choice to be in the middle, in the evenness of things. So the word for evenness, one of the words for evenness in yoga is sama, S-A-M-A. Like the pose we call Samasthiti. Sama, even, sti is steadiness, stitihi, an even steadiness of standing. So that may be a way to feel in your body each time we come to that pose this morning, Samasthiti. What is the active experience of equanimity for you? So let's start with a short period of sitting quietly. And quiet might be quiet in your household, and quiet here might be that I'm quiet and that the kittens are wrestling. So you might hear the pitter patter of 8 paws, 2 tails, and a couple of meows going on. So please rest your hands in your lap. You can close your eyes or bring your gaze just downward and let it be more restful. You could even imagine yourself right now in the mind as if you've had a pendulum. We all have a pendulum of sorts. Maybe yours swings less wide left to right, but you could imagine that pendulum between desire and aversion, grasping, reacting, the wanting mind, the not wanting mind. Imagine the pendulum becoming still because you're able to actively not engage in swinging it and to actively choose being in the middle path. As you visualize, if you choose to do so, as you visualize the pendulum becoming more still, notice what happens within your body. Particularly be aware if you feel like you're getting still by kind of closing down, which is not what I'm recommending. I don't want you to sense that equanimity is kind of oppressing anything in you. But sense if you might have this pendulum become still because of the freedom of not being in grasping or aversion. Like it's a quality of relaxation and availability to life, not a feeling of constriction. Now begin to breathe through that process. So you may deepen your inhale. You may lengthen your exhale. When you start to sense the breath, as I said yesterday, also sense the pauses in your breath cycle. So we arrive at kind of the peak of the inhale. And even as the inhale finishes, there's this sense of still rising without more inhale coming in. And then the exhale turns around from there and begins. And at the bottom of the exhale, even when the last part of the breath has kind of been ushered out, there's a feeling of still descending while you're in the pause. It's not that the mechanics of the breath go on, but there's a sense of the suspending at the top and the bottom. A very brief pause, not a formal pranayama pause. You can imagine that the breath is clearing out this thing we call in yoga the Sushumna Nadi, or the central channel. You may also be getting the news from your body and from this central channel, the news of where things need to be realigned or recalibrated in you. Like a place where the breath isn't so smooth, a place where your mind gets pulled away, a place where something feels lethargic. Taking in that information, now bring your hands together at your heart. And we'll chant the Gayatri Mantra to begin. Om Bhargava Suvaha Tat Savitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata Om Bhargava Suvaha Tat Savitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata Om Bhargava Suvaha Tat Savitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. Please open your eyes. This morning, we're going to do a little bit of standing pranayama before seated pranayama. So I'm going to switch my camera. And you're welcome to come up to standing. That looks pretty good. And you're going to take a stance that's probably the width of your yoga mat, the width of the wide side of your yoga mat. We call it horse stance sometimes. And you can bend the knees a little bit so you have a sense like as if you were riding a horse, something about like this. We're going to just do arm swings to get started. So it's going to be fists on the way back and the fingers open when you're coming forward. And it's brisk through the nose. So it's a brisk inhale with sound and a brisk exhale with sound also like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your arms swing until they're still. And then inhale, raise both arms up overhead. And exhale, bend your knees and make a ragdoll. As you come down, notice if your body has an inclination for a deeper breath, almost like you might have the instinct for yawning or for sighing. And then place your hands on your knees, press yourself up to standing. Okay, now we're going to use arms up and the fingers will be open. I realize you can't see my arms. So when they go up, fingers are open. When you come down, you're making two fists like this and you pull down and you squeeze the upper back when you do that. And it's also brisk inhale, brisk exhale like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale to go up again. And exhale, come down to the ragdoll position. And see if your body might have an inclination for a deeper breath in. It's possible that your body will naturally yawn or sigh. And then place your hands on your knees, rise up to standing. And now we're going to include a sound with the exhale. And this is going on breath of fire. There's different variations of this practice in terms of the stance that you might take, but there's inhale, inhale, inhale. So 3 inhales without an exhale. And then we exhale, we go down. And today we'll take the arms out to the side and back. And the sound you're using when you go down like that is ha. And you're saying it from the dantian, from the lower dantian, and you're pushing the sound out. So this is called breath of joy. And I learned it from the movie Harold and Maude. Maude was teaching this to Harold. Okay. So now I'm teaching it to you through her. So 2 fists like this, 3 brisk inhales. Ha. 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 3 more. Ha. 2 more. Ha. Last one. Ha. And you stay down again like a rag doll. And listen for whatever the inclination is from your body at this moment. Your body might want to yawn. It may not need that right now. You may find that the breath is shallow, but not any cause for concern. Now place your hands and we'll go heel toe out into prasarita to Palchanasana. Walk your fingertips forward. So this position is also like a pyramid. Pyramid is a stable structure. So where your 2 feet are and where your hands are, you can try to make that like an equilateral distance, like a triangle. Your hips are the high point of the pyramid. As with yesterday's practice, I'm going to ask you to use the inhale specifically. And the in-breath begins at the back hemisphere of the pelvic floor, to the back of the sacrum, the back of your waist, the back of your heart. Even you can imagine the back of your throat and the base of your skull. Then begin your exhale from the pubic bones to the perineum, up the front of your sacrum, the front line of your spine. Notice the length of your breath. Notice the pace. And also the sound of the breath in the inner ear. And if possible, you can have your inhale and exhale equal to each other. No need to be perfectionistic about that. It doesn't have to be the longest possible breath, but a kind of evenness between your inhale and your exhale. And also that the pauses in your breath could be equal to each other. So your rhythm might be inhale 6, pause for 2, exhale 6, pause for 2. Inhale from the back hemisphere of the pelvic floor, up the sacrum, back waist, the back of your body. And exhale from the front hemisphere of the pelvic floor, up the front line of your sacrum, your spine, towards your heart. With your next exhale, as it completes, walk your hands up to your hips, and please rise up to standing. Let's go heel toe in and take the pose called Samasthiti, even standing. You can close the eyes if you like. No need to have any real muscle tone right now. So I'm going to recommend actually that you relax the muscles of your body and imagine the bones and the structure of your body kind of holding you up. Allow for there to be the possibility that you're going to sway very slightly, but also the possibility that there's a stillness in the central channel, the plumb line of your body. Now please take a seat for a few moments of pranayama. This is to further clear the lungs and to set us up for the asana portion of our practice today. So take a seat that you can be comfortable in. I'll take those back. That's not for you. No. Cats don't wear glasses. No. Okay, you can rest your hands out over your knees. And this is also a pyramid shape. From the hips to the thighs, there's your pyramid base. And hands to your shoulders to the top of your head, this pyramid shape. So we're going to use Vastrika. And then we'll have inhale, suspension. We'll have exhale, inhale, suspension, exhale left, suspend, exhale right, and then we'll move on from there. Let's begin. Exhale to the end, then inhale through both nostrils. Come up for inhale suspension. And during inhale suspension, you're going to lift the heart, tone the Jandahar Bandha, and the Uddiyana Bandha. Mula Bandha will come with it. And then exhale through both nostrils, a long, complete exhale. Start at the front hemisphere of the pelvic floor and move up the front line of your spine. And then carefully begin the inhale smoothly, rising concentrically. So the in-breath will also become this puffed chest, we call it, for suspension. Close the right nostril and exhale left side. Inhale left. Suspend. Close the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close the left, close the right, exhale left. Release your hand to your lap. Now we're going to prepare for Kapalabhati, where you exhale out through the nose. And this morning, I've had a couple questions, so I'm going to answer them with this strategy. Let's do 5 strong exhales left, 5 strong exhales right, and then we'll go to both nostrils. We'll do that about 60 breath cycles there. So we're cleansing the sinuses. We're trying to clear out the left passage and the right passage. So like this, left side first. Right. Now both. Exhale through both nostrils completely. Inhale up to suspension. Exhale both nostrils. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Close the right, exhale left side. Inhale left. Close the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release your right hand to your lap. Allow yourself to relax and to consider the nature of the exhale pause. The feeling tone of the breath. The absence of grasping or clinging. we'll do one final pranayama for this set. And it's not Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. I'm gonna ask you to pace for yourself that your inhale has an equal length to your exhale. And the pauses are also equal for this morning. Equal to each other for the pauses. So you might have like inhale 10, pause for 3 or 4, exhale 10, pause for 3 or 4. So you could think of it a little bit more like the shape of a paper clip, less like a rectangle, because I want smooth transitions, not jagged edges. I'm also going to recommend you explore this if you can do it. So you close one nostril completely. The other one you just have partially open, partially closed. That means that you have to use the diaphragm more for the inhale, and you'll have to use the pelvic floor and the abdominal muscles to support the exhale a little bit stronger. Your breath is also going to be lengthened by this process. Don't make yourself breathless. That won't lead to equanimity. So closing the right completely and the left partially. Begin with your left nostril. Enjoy the pause. You're going to change to make the left nostril completely closed, the right one partially open. Because each of you will be at your own pace, we're going to do this in silence for the next several breath cycles. The next time you complete an exhale on the left nostril, then you can rest. Call that the last one. Sometimes it will feel very natural after Nadi Shodhana. It'll feel very natural to have your gaze kind of resting up at the sixth chakra, the space between the eyebrows. Now with this quality of mind and breath and body, we will proceed. Please come up to standing. Let's come into Uttanasana at the top of your yoga mat. And relax the weight of your head, the weight of your mind. And begin to breathe Ujjayi breath through both nostrils, listening for the sound and the smoothness of the breath. And cultivate a breath length that you sense you could sustain evenly between inhale and exhale for Surya Namaskar. So it doesn't need to be your longest possible breath, but something you can sustain breath to breath. When you have that, you can then place your hands on your hips and rise up to standing. Turn your hands at your heart. So in the practice of equanimity, one of the four Brahmaviharas, the four Brahmaviharas are called the divine abodes, the place where we rest in our divine nature. So abode means home, and I like to associate these divine abodes with the heart. So the heart of equanimity, the heart of God. From a place of equanimity, we would naturally experience a kind of inclusivity of everything and everyone. Our well wishes, our prayers for people would be non-exclusive. In fact, it would also include us. Right? We're not self-sacrificing, we're included in those prayers. So in this Surya Namaskar, you can have a sense, may everyone and everything be cared for. May everyone and everything be cared about. May we learn to share our resources with more equality, more equanimity. Okay, so with your Ujjayi breath, sweep the hands down, turn your palms forward, rise up. And then chair pose. Inhale, rise up. So the pace of your breath that's even for you. Exhale, Uttanasana. Respect that at the end of the exhale, there's going to be this gentle exhale pause. Begin your inhale smoothly. The back hemisphere of the pelvic floor, the back of the body. Exhale smoothly from the front hemisphere of the pelvic floor up through the inner belly towards your heart. Rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale to rise. Loka. Chair pose. Samasthiti. Rising up. Sukhino. Uttanasana. Bhavantu. Heart forward. Loka. Uttanasana. Samasta. Rising up. Sukhino. To the heart. Bhavantu. Continuing. If it helps you to pace your breath by sensing the sound of the chant rather than counting, you can do that. Gliding forward. Left foot back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms wide, chest, heart, and throat open, eyes open. Inhale, rise up, gathering in everything and everyone. Exhale to the heart and forward, down. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, right foot back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, opening chest and heart, throat, eyes. Inhale, rise up, gathering in everything and everyone. Exhale to your heart and forward and down. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Uttanasana. Rising up. To the heart. Continuing. Loka. Chair. Samasta. Rising. Sukhino. Descending. Bhavantu. Forward. Loka. Left foot. Samasta. Rising. Sukhino. Opening. Bhavantu. Rising. Loka. To the heart and down. Samasta. Forward. Sukhino. Right foot back. Bhavantu. Rising. Loka. Opening. Samasa. Rising. Sukhino. Forward. Bhavantu. Step forward. Loka. To the legs. Samastha rising, Sukhino to the heart, Bhavantu rising, Loka chair pose, Samastha rising, Sukhino to the heart, Bhavantu. And stand very still in Samasthiti. We're going to use a different approach to the asana. We've done this before, but I'm going to change to the profile view so that you can see me from there. And I'll ask you to stack 2 blocks tall like this. I just have to watch my step because kittens are good at getting underfoot. So what I'd like you to have is 1 block small, 1 block tall on the inside of your right ankle, setting up for a triangle pose. This is going to be a variation on triangle pose. Come down and place your right hand. So I'd like your right arm and both legs to remain steady. Your pelvis is also going to stay steady in this triangle pose. And for the most part, the lower back and the mid back. But we're going to be moving the upper back and the arm position. So when you do that, this up position can feel really expansive, can be like a sail on a ship. When you're coming down, don't give up on any structure in the pose and let the upper back, the shoulder blades and the heart reach down like this. So the support arm remains strong. It's my hope that we can stretch the back of the heart and also strengthen it. So we're going to open the front of the chest inevitably too. So let's begin with the left arm up, please. Yeah. And you can either choose to gaze up if that's comfortable for your neck. Some of you might choose to gaze down because it stretches the neck in a certain way. Your Ujjayi breath, including the pauses in your breath cycle. And check that your legs are firmly established, the feet are steady, stirham. The breath is easeful, sukham. Now keeping the mind steady, even if you were looking down or up. Now on the inhale, gaze up, reach up. And then exhale, follow your left thumb as you gaze down, come down. Keep your right arm steady, leg steady, and reach your left hand past your right. And then inhale to open that again, keeping both legs strong and your right arm steady. And follow your exhale so it's smooth. Your rhythm should feel not chaotic to your body, nor to your mind. Follow your left thumb. Inhale to go up. No sense of distraction as much as possible. You stay inside the movement of your breath, your body, the stillness of the pauses, the sincerity of your efforts. So your mind is not going past or future, craving or aversion. And the next time that you're reaching down, let that be the last one, left arm down. And then raising your left arm up also for the last time. Now gazing straight ahead, place your left hand on your left hip and bend your right knee. So the pose will feel like parsvakonasana with a taller position for your right hand. Press firmly down into your right arm and lengthen your right inner thigh. Now sweep your left arm past your left ear. You may choose to gaze up past your left arm. You may choose to close your eyes even if you're turning your head. You may choose to gaze down past your right shoulder. You may also have the eyes closed even if your gaze is sort of down. Listen in your body for where you can have steadiness, stirham, and ease, sukham, evenness, sama, with tranquility, stikau, a steady tranquility. And equanimity is an expression with whatever's happening. It's not because we have the circumstances that we want that we're able to have equanimity. And with your next exhale, whether you're gazing down or up, exhale, rise up to standing here. Release both arms. And then make the feet parallel. So upeksha could be the quality, and you're cultivating some of the ingredients of that, like evenness, steadiness, ease, practice of contentment, maybe connected to your expression of equanimity. The absence of discontentment might be the way you express your equanimity. But again, it's not that you're dissociating, you're not vanishing and just appearing to be there in your body. So it's not aloofness. It's an embodied sense of being present, even if the ocean's turbulent, which it is right now. It's turbulent in this room too. Excuse me. Okay, so set up your feet for trikonasana and bring your left hand down to the block. And place your left arm firmly so you have strength from your shoulder into your hand. Raise the right arm up. Okay, establish your legs. So from your outer right hip, root down into your right outer heel. Your tailbone is going to incline itself towards your right heel more than your left. So when you lengthen the sacrum and the tailbone down, it would not be unexpected for you to have a stretch at the side waist or even at the right hip flexors. Engage your left leg, including your left thigh muscles. So your kneecap, if I could touch it, I wouldn't be able to wiggle it. Yeah. Good. And then breathing in, we'll gaze up, find your right thumb. And exhale, follow your right thumb to come down and reach past your left arm. Inhale to go up. Exhale, follow your own breath pace. So this is a practice that you're in unison with yourself, body, breath, mind, eyes, thumb. And you're connected with all those with whom you're practicing. We don't have to have the same ratio for the breath. Each of us must have our own practice in that regard. Notice the benefit and also the challenge of following your thumb with your eyes. Notice the challenge of following your thumb with your eyes, but without any sense of compromising something. We're going to go up one more time. There's your inhalation. And then gazing forward, place your right hand on your right hip and bend your left knee. So you come into the side angle pose with the legs. Press from your right hip into your right heel and sweep your right arm past your right ear. And then the idea is just to hold steady, right? To find steadiness, stirham, evenness, sama, with ease, sukham. And one thing you could consider is how are you evenly distributing the responsibilities in your pose, the resources required to strengthen your right leg or your left, the resource required to maintain your left arm or your right. And breathing in, energize your left heel. So when you exhale, you're able to press down and rise up. Straighten both legs. Let's make the feet parallel. Relax your arms. And come down with one block or two blocks if you need them for your head in Palchanasana. You can decide how high you need the blocks to be based on the flexibility of your hamstrings. Sometimes making your feet a little bit closer or farther will help you to navigate the sort of perfect setup because the blocks are only a certain dimension. I don't recommend that you make your feet as wide as possible to have your head touch the floor. I know some people are tempted to do that, but I do like your hips to be higher here. So there's this sort of drainage for the organs to be experiencing your head quite a bit lower than your heart. And then please place your hands on your hips and rise up to standing. Okay, so we've been playing this week with gate pose. This week means the last several days, the week that just, I guess it just ended, but nature doesn't think in those terms, and apparently I don't either. We've been playing with gate pose. We're going to do that again right now, and I'm going to recommend that you have a blanket for your knees, which is to say for your knees and your shins. And you'll need two blocks, and we'll use them in two different ways. So I'm going to take my blocks over to the right side of my mat. So left shin up on the blanket and right foot out in gate pose, which is also called Parigasana. And see if you can let the hips be level here. So what do you have to do for that? For some of us, when you take the right leg out, you're going to need to have a slight turn on the pelvis. Because if you try to go for 180, it's going to tip your right knee in, like mine just did. It's also going to raise one hip up higher than the other. So allow for a slight turn. So your pelvis has a reasonable angle here. Also, taking the left shin slightly out can help you to level your hips because of what it does inside your hip joints. You then place your right hand on your block. Sweep your left arm past your left ear. And I'd like you to make this pose first about the strength of the reach and the height that you can reach to. Press down for your left shin, your left thigh. Tone your left outer hip and your left butt. And check that you're not having the left hip right here sink backwards. And then reach into your left side waist, left shoulder blade, your left arm. Now taking the block that's on top of the first block, so the block in your hand, the right one, place it behind. So it's on the medium setting. And let the pose go just a little bit deeper into the side bend if your right hamstring and inner thigh are okay with that. Even more importantly, if the left side of the body remains in integrity. And breathing in. Now take the same block under your right hand and place it behind you. So when it goes behind you, it's still medium, maybe it's tall for you, and you're going to reach into a little back bend. That's right, yeah. Gaze down past your right shoulder towards the floor. And then release your left arm alongside your face, rise up and return your right block to the stack. Okay, the left side of you might feel quite different than the right side. So let's change these to the other side. So right shin in, left foot out. Okay, and check again how you level your hips here. Right, because we don't need your hips to be cattywampus and then try to go into this sort of kaleidoscope of a pose. So root down through your tailbone. Zip up through the low belly. So you might already feel your hip flexors on the right leg. Arms wide. And left hand down to your blocks. Raise your right arm up. So I'm less interested in how far to the left you can bend. And I'm more interested in what's happening in this channel of the body from your right thigh, right hip, up through the right hemisphere of the body to your right fingers and your thumb. As you maintain this, you can check and see if the breath is smooth now. So even the breath can have steadiness, stirham, and ease, sukham. And take the block under your left hand, place it with your left hand behind your left shin. So that just changed the dimension of your pose somewhat. And keeping your right butt toned, you're going to take the block under your left hand behind you, maybe on the tall setting, maybe on the medium setting. Lift up into a little back bend. You may gaze down past your left shoulder. And then sweep your right arm down alongside your face and return your left block to its little stack over there and step your left shin in and come down to kneel or take a block to kneel on, either way. Rest your hands and close your eyes. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Okay, now taking your blocks, you can put them aside, come over to your forearms and your knees and step your right foot out to the side. Level your hips, please. So you may sense that the right inner thigh is getting an opportunity Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Now, any amount that your left knee will allow you to, you can glide backwards. Keep the arms forward so you end up straightening your elbows. They look like a part of an arrow, the palms together like an arrow. And as you roll back, turn your right kneecap and right toes up towards the ceiling. And then reach forward, press down through your left shin, come forward onto your elbows, turn your right toes back to the floor. And then glide back. So straighten your elbows, they're going to come off the floor. Keep your palms together, rotate to your outer, the backside of your right heel. And roll forward again, please. You're going to turn your right foot flat, come to your elbows. And then last time to reach back. So your left hip might find your left heel. You may straighten the elbows. You're on the outside edge of your palms and pinky fingers. Point the right toes up. And then come forward to change sides. So right shin in, left foot out. Left foot can point forward to start and come down to your forearms. You can greet the left inner thigh with appreciation, especially if you're having strong sensations there. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Okay, let's glide back. Turn to your outer left heel, the back of your heel. Keep the arms forward so you're stretching the arms like an arrow. And then roll forward, left foot flat to the floor. And glide back. Press into your pinky fingers and raise your elbows. Raise the toes of your left foot. And glide forward. And glide back. And then shift forward and step your left knee in. And come back to sitting on your knees or heels once more. Now we're going to go towards Shavasana, so we have time for meditation at the end of class. So what I'd like you to do for Shavasana this morning, so we just stretch the inner thighs, let's take the opportunity to open this blanket. We're going to do the levitating form of Parighasana. So you take the blanket, open it pretty wide, and then fold it length to length. So it's a pretty long blanket right now. And do that again. Do it one more time. So you've got this extra long blanket. What's going to happen is that'll go over your ankles, around your shins, and under the outside of the pelvis. This is a good time to reach for your sandbag or your eye pillow or another blanket to cover with if you're going to be doing that. And so you're going to lie on your back like this. The blanket goes over the tops of your feet. When you lie down, these two edges of the blanket kind of act a little bit like a rope where you can pull the ankles in. And then you lift the hips and just put the blanket right behind the trochanters. So what you'll notice when you come down is that your knees can't keep going all the way to the floor. The blanket has blocked you at the outer shins and at the outer thighs. Then you can take your sandbag and place it low on the pelvic bones, not on the belly, but on the pelvic bones. Then you may place your eye pillow, and of course you can take a blanket also to cover up with if you have any sense that you're going to get chilled during your Shavasana. And set yourself shoulder blades under the heart. And you could do palms out to the side, face up for receptivity. You could do hands on the solar plexus or the heart for kind of tenderness. You also can choose whatever else feels most comfortable to you. And then start relaxing from the center of the eyebrows, where I said earlier after pranayama, sometimes it's very natural to have the attention come back to the sixth chakra. So from this place, start softening, or I like the word melting, any unnecessary tension between your eyebrows. And allow your eyes to relax in their sockets, the eyelids gently draping over your eyes. Relax the corners of your eyes, your temples, and your hairline, the entirety of your forehead. And then releasing where the cheek muscles from the bridge of your nose down across your cheeks, as if they were melting towards your ears. You may relax your tongue and let that get heavy at the bottom of your mouth. Release the hinge of your jaw. And bringing awareness down from the sixth chakra to the fifth, come into your throat. Do your best to relax the muscles surrounding your throat and your voice box and your neck. And come down into the fourth chakra, the heart, the center for the Brahmaviharas. And down to the third chakra, the center for discernment, action, purpose. And then down to the second chakra, a place for vitality, creativity, sensuality. And then down to the first chakra, place for grounding, homecoming, sense of stability, a connection to the earth and to your tribe. Allowing your body to remain restful, simply remove the sandbag. Notice the absence of the weight of the sandbag. And keeping your mind restful, simply fold your knees up to center. And roll to your side. And press up to sitting. For some of you, when you sit in meditation, this blanket that you just made for Shavasana can become helpful to you. For example, if when you sit, the way that you sit means that your knees are floating, you can take a blanket to actually support the knees. So you have a blanket for your hips and a blanket for the knees not to get pulled down if it causes pain. For others, I'm going to sit in, this is called sitting in Sukhasana. So I have my heels lined up with my pubic bone. In that case, I could just take this blanket and wrap it here because I have shorter arms. So now I have like this little place for the elbows to rest, and the shoulders will not be bothering the upper back. That might be something you consider if during meditation your upper back bothers you. Mine doesn't, but this is an option if you need it. And you can rest your eyes to an inward place. Considering upeksha, some definitions of equanimity: not needing things to be different, knowing they won't stay the same. We allow ourselves to be present with what is. Also, an evenness of the heart and the mind towards all that is arising and all that is dissolving. An evenness of mind and heart towards that which is within us and that which is around us. From a place of equanimity, we're able to bring wisdom and discernment into action, seeing the short-term and the long-term view. Please bring your hands together at your heart. So we'll chant Om Shanti 3 times at the end of this chant that I'll sing. You can sing this with me if you know it. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityodamukshiyamamritata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I'm going to come up to see you closer, to thank you and see how you're doing. My little fuzzy students have gone somewhere else to wrestle or to nap. I don't know what they're doing. Hi. Let me change so I can see you better. Okay. So Maren, how is this after the video you watched that I sent out? How are you doing?